Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another episode of Conscious Coffee Talks. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Andrea Johnson, Reiki Master, Teacher, and Practitioner, Energy Worker, and Spiritual Lifestyle Content Maker. That is a mouthful. Today I am coming at you Christmas themed, or Nightmare Before Christmas themed, because that's how I do my Christmas around here. And we're going with hot chocolate today instead of coffee, because it is a cold, gloomy day here in the Ozarks. So with that being said, let's dive into today's topic, which I'm really excited about. That is working with spirit guides or angels or beings, whatever you want to call them. I want to demystify, per se, of what these things are, so then you actually know when you are working with them, or if you want to start working with them and you don't exactly know if you think you're doing it right or not, or you might think you're going crazy. So in this Conscious Coffee Talk, we are going to cover what it means to actually work with spirit guides, angels, beings. We're gonna go over what it feels like to actually work with said angels, beings, or spirit guides. And then we're gonna go over how you can actually start working with angels or your spirit guides, or figuring out who your spirit guides even are. So with that being said, let's dive in. So what does it mean to actually work with spirit guides, angels, or beings? Let's kind of talk about what these things are. So everything in our universe is made up of energy, guys, right? So essentially these beings, these angels, all they are beings or energy without bodies. So essentially your soul is the same thing that they are. Your soul is a unique bundle of energy that is you, right? The thing powering this body. The only difference between you and them are they vibrate at a different frequency, and it's a higher frequency. So they don't exist in this realm. They don't exist in the physical realm. They have to communicate a different way to actually get our attention and for us to work with them, right? But they cannot have the human experience like you or I. Now, that's not to say that a human might not be a guide for you, just not what I'm talking about in this sense of the nature of working with spirit guides or angels. When you are working with these beings, you are basically calling them into your field. So these beings are essentially essences of you. They are pieces of you. There is no, we are all connected in the universe. And this might be hard for some people to wrap around if you've never truly felt the oneness, felt it internally. They are just, so when you're working with these beings, they're a different aspect of you, the divine, just like how we are a essence of the divine as well. When you want to start working with these beings, what you're actually doing is calling in their frequency into your field, into the body, right? I always say you have to remember the body is the tool that harnesses energy into this existence, in this dimension. And you want it to be the energy that is you, which is your soul, me, powering this avatar to create my reality and live a human existence. So since the body is just a tool that harnesses energy, we as the conscious creator or the human, we actually have the same intention or the mind as God. So we get to choose what energies we run in this body. Now, we would consciously like to run high vibrational energy, our true essence of our soul in this body, right? So when we want to work with spirit guides or with angels or beings, interdimensional beings, one of my favorites to work with, we are calling them into our field. And when we're doing this, whenever you start to work with, really kind of, I want to say famous, but popular, like angels or spirit guides, you're calling in their vibration, and you actually start to feel what these beings feel like, or their personality or their energy, how that you use them in your life. They help you through certain periods of your life. They help you with certain things. So that's why different energies are, I say different energies, different beings or spirit guides will help you with different things in your life. And they show up at different times in your life. If you're really kind of into understand these things, if you really understand the energy and how these things work, sometimes they can just show up randomly depending on your goals in your life, or if you're going through something, their energy is meant to help you. So for example, if you're sitting in meditation and you're wanting to work with, say, Michael is one of my favorite angels to work with for protection. He brings forth a protective energy for me. So I will call him in, which the way that I do it is I say his name 3 times and Michael's energy comes in. And how I know he comes in is because I'm very familiar with my energetic system. I feel his energy enter into my field, and then I start to feel different. I start to actually feel that protection. I actually start to feel into his energy and radiate that, thus bringing into existence his energy. Essentially, when you call in and start working with these beings, you're channeling them into this existence. This is when you will see actual channels when they call in, say, Jesus or Saint Germain or something of that nature. They'll actually, or more so, this might be, you'll see people when they start to channel these energies, their voice will change, their facial features will start to change. You might even see their faces shift. Their movements in their body will start to change. They take on the full character or the full energy, I say character, but the full energy of what this being or this spirit guide or this angel actually is, and they become a channel for it in this dimension. And it helps them get through or complete or execute something in their life. And when you're doing this as well, you're getting the knowledge that these beings have or these angels have. Not only are they providing you with a certain energy to help you manifest that in your life, physically in this realm, they are providing you with information and with guidance, with wisdom. So that's when, like for myself, when I'm making these videos, I'm actually channeling most of the time, because this information is not coming from me. It's coming from a higher source, a higher power. It's like the infinite knowledge that the computer base we're tapping into for source. So that is what it means to work with these energies, to work with spirit guides or angels. You're actually just calling in their energy into your field, and then it is able to help you out with certain aspects of your life, or you're just able to feel the protection. Like when I call in Michael, I'm feeling his protection. When I'm working in Reiki sessions, I'm working with different ascended masters or guides, because I want to tap into their high vibrational love so I can channel that into my session. When I'm working with my interdimensional beings, they help me through my life. They help me work through stressful situations. I have spirit guides that help me work in my business as well, the business side of it, and I get more of the masculine energy. So these spirit guides and angels, they come in, and for the emotions or the feelings or the frequencies that they bring in for you will be what you need in the moment. So or how a being feels for me may not be exactly the same thing of how it feels for you, because you need a different sort of energy from that guide or from that angel than what I need to execute something in my life. So it's not necessarily to say, I think especially when I first started working with spirit guides or angels or whatever, I thought I was crazy. I was just like, okay, am I supposed to see like this man come in, like, or this angel figure come in and like just, like it was somebody talking to me, like physically, like I was expecting some person to walk in and be like, yo, let's work together. No, that's not how it works. You have to tap into your intuition. You have to use your psychic abilities for channeling, and that's just part of it. You have to understand that you're not crazy, that you essentially are channeling every day in your life. You're just not conscious of it. My cat is gonna knock down this tree. So how spirit guides or how angels, how they can communicate if you're not you. Hey. Get cats, they said. I kind of went over what it means to work with these guides and kind of what it feels like. So that is just one way that they can come in and work with you, is through your clairsentient, which is the feeling. And with me being, I say an empath, but everyone's an empath essentially. But when you're conscious of it and that's your strong suit, you can feel these things pretty easily. And you can feel your energy shift in your body, so you know when energy comes in when it's not yours. But they can also communicate in other ways as well. They can communicate through visions. They can communicate through imagination type of things. So if they paint a picture in your third eye, that could also be a communication from a spirit guide. They can also come as just knowings. If you work with a certain spirit guide for a specific thing, like for business or something of that nature, like myself, when I ask a question and then I receive an answer, I know it's from that spirit guide. Usually it will come with an essence of that spirit guide and a certain tone of voice or a certain frequency in which I can feel that it is them that is coming through. Because I work with several for maybe one topic per se. So you'll actually start to get the feeling of which one you're working with and for who you want to work with for whatever in your life to improve it, because you can work with so many of them. So they communicate with you basically through your psychic senses, which are just your 5 senses elevated, right? So when you want to start working with spirit guides and want to improve your communication with them, you have to start clearing out energies that aren't you. So to actually develop your intuition and to kind of, I say, remember who you are, because when you do that, you understand what these things are, and when you can see them and identify them, and you can easily work with them in your life, and you don't have to be like in a meditative state or something of that nature. When I first started working with spirit guides and angels or whatnot, I always did it through meditation, because I felt like I had to be in a meditative state to actually get clear messages and things like that. And I started to realize that I could do this at any point in my life. I could do it throughout my day. I could do it during my work day, whenever. I knew that if I needed help and to ask for something, I was going to get whatever spirit guide to come help me in the moment. I have them show up at my work all the time. And I have them show up just, either in my mind's third eye, I feel their vibration, or I understand that sometimes, and I know this may sound a little contrary to the idea of it, but they actually show up in people's vibration, and I feel like they are channeling through this other person to bring me a message per se. But the person doesn't understand this or realize this, or but it means something to me. So that's kind of how they work through other people. They work through symbolism. They work through animals, through anything in which that they can communicate with you. And so because our frequencies are so different in this dimension, right? I channel quite a bit with Reiki. This is something to understand too about channeling these energies, the angels and the guides. When I am conducting a Reiki session, I am working with my interdimensional being family. I'm working with the Ascended Master Jesus. I'm working with angels, and so I have them all with me throughout the session, and they are guiding me. They're showing me things in my third eye. They're bringing in their frequencies, in which it's allowing me to channel into the person. And then post-session, when I am speaking, when I am still connected to these energies, I can feel them in my field. So when I'm speaking from this place of connection and radiating that field, I am channeling them through myself into the field. When I'm speaking from this place, I know that it is of a higher wisdom and a higher frequency, that this person needed to hear these messages from these beings. So that's kind of how, when you have channels tap into Jesus's energy, when they tap into that energy, they are allowing Jesus to come into their field. Or we'll use like fairies. When they allow like fairies to come into their field, when they hold that vibration, whatever they speak from this vibration, they know to be 100% true, and the information wasn't for them. You have to really get out of your own way whenever you're doing this stuff. Any kind of energy work, you're really getting your mind out of the way. And just allowing the information to flow through you, because that is what the human body is made for, to channel energy into this existence. So you were channeling really every day. You're just hopefully channeling your higher self every day. So you can really see of what throws people off is when they second guess it, when they start second guessing if they're doing this right, or if they start to bring in fear of, oh my gosh, you know, should I say this? Should I not say this? Like, am I going crazy? Like, you know, you start to question your sanity, you know, because this is something that we are not taught. It's more like child's play per se. And honestly, that is what we are supposed to be doing. When we start speaking from when you're connected to these beings and you start to actually get fearful if you're doing a channeling session or something of that nature, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, am I saying the correct stuff? Am I, you know, I hope that this is right, or something like that. And I'm talking more so on like psychic readings. You'll see that when people start second guessing and then they start bringing fear into the session, or the information per se, it skews it. It skews the session, it skews the information. So when you speak from a place of fear, you're actually speaking fear into it. So the information really isn't fully valid. It wouldn't flow as easy as it would if you stayed connected to this energy. And it could be incorrect information. I personally, I don't want to say incorrect information. My cat. Hey, I'm a firm believer to say that whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. When you set an intention for something and you get out of your way, like, it's going to happen. You just have to trust and let go and let flow, honestly. So the last thing that I wanted to cover on just kind of what it feels like to channel is you can be a conscious channel or unconscious. Now, I think I kind of wanted to talk about this because I think it scares people. They think when you channel or when you work with angels or guides, like, these things are taking over your body and you're not conscious aware of it. Like, the person just disappears, you know, from their soul just leaves the body, and that really isn't what happens. Now, if you go unconscious, which is, you know, I haven't ever fully gone unconscious, but I will forget things. I will forget what I am speaking because I am so much into the flow and so out of my own way that I just let information go. Now, there are some people who don't remember that, literally black out, and they don't remember what they say. They literally kind of just are kind of taken out of it. But it doesn't mean that they weren't in control of it. Like, they allowed this to happen. And that is just to tap into deeper states of consciousness or this information that they're channeling through. Now, where I feel like most people channel from is from a state of conscious awareness. And we're getting to this point now because the earth has elevated her consciousness enough. So meaning that we're more easily able to connect with these energies, that we don't have to be in such deep states of like either hypnosis or meditative states to tap into these energies. We can pretty much do it with a few times of practicing. So because each time you work with these beings or these guides or whatever, you get better and better at it, understanding the communication. So it is like a tool. It is a muscle that you have to constantly, I don't say constantly, it's a muscle that you have to improve. It's a skill, right? Like what I do most of the time is conscious channeling. I understand the shift in my energetic field of whenever I am connecting with these beings, and when I'm speaking from or acting from this point of vibration coming in within me, I know that it is the beings. I know that it is the spirit guides, the angels. I know that it is their frequency, and it's helping my energetic field. It's helping me in my life at the moment, and it's giving me wisdom that I need in that moment to do what I need to do, right? So let's go over how you can start working with your spirit guides or your angels or your interdimensional beings. So first things first is set the intention. It is just that simple, guys. There are certain meditations that you can use to actually help guide you into meeting your spirit guides or your angels. Mostly it's guided meditations of what I have seen people do to first get acclimated to their spirit guides. But all you really are doing is setting the intention, and guided meditations just help you clear your mind enough to connect with your body and to your psychic abilities or senses to allow the information to come in and be communicated with you, however which way it should be. With these meditations, it'll probably like guide you into like a scene and have the spirit guide come in, and it will come in however which way it wants to show itself to you. So meaning that it may come in as an animal spirit guide. So you might see a bear or something. Or it may come to you as like an Indian or like an Egyptian sound healer or something of that nature. It will sometimes take on the form of a person. Sometimes it may not take on the form at all, and that's okay. It would just be kind of an essence, and you just know it's kind of a consciousness, an energy that came in. And then once you kind of feel this guide with you, you're gonna wanna start to get to understand it, to get to know it better, more on just like how you would get to know like a friend. So you would ask it its name, see what comes to mind. Usually these things come to you just like in a drop of a moment, and the first thing that comes to mind is what the name is. Or if a name doesn't come, it wasn't meant to come in that time, and that's okay. Just the same way as if it didn't show up in like a figure form, or like a picture in your mind, it just wasn't meant to at that time. And these guides can shift throughout our life as well. Like you can have the same guide show up as something in a different form and even have a different name. I've had the same guide tell me like 5 different names per se. And none of it is wrong. It's just how they want to communicate with us and what we, our energy is in the moment. So that is how you can start to work with these energies, these guides. All you have to do is ask. There's plenty of guided meditations on YouTube. I will even ask in Reiki sessions, I'll ask in meditation, or there will be things in life that I'm just like, I'm sitting, in my sacred space, or I am like either in a situation or I'm just like, I need help. And I will have just a guide enter in my life or enter in the moment and then start to help me with whatever I need. And I don't even have to see them come in. I don't have to, I just trust and I know that when I ask for help, I'm either gonna get an angel, I'm gonna get a guide, my higher self is gonna come in, or God's gonna step in. Either way, you're going to start working with these things. And it is your intention of what kicks it off. So you just have to constantly be working with them to understand them or to understand their energy. And it's kind of the same way as if you were developing your psychic senses, which is because you're developing your intuition. That is essentially what it means to work with spirit guides, work with angels, interdimensional beings. You are basically the epicenter for all of this to take place. The body is. It's pretty amazing, actually. The key here is to understand you're not crazy. When you understand how the energy works, our universe is made up of energy, and that's truly all that exists, just at different levels of frequency, and you're just tapping into a higher frequency and allowing it to come through you with your intention. You just have to get out of your own way to actually allow these things to come here. Anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much all that I had on this topic. It's actually quite remarkable. I love working with my guides. Now, I don't work with a ton of guides, so whenever I do have one show up or I do work with them, I know that it's pretty important for me. There are some people who have like 20 plus guides. So it just truly depends on what you would like to do in your life, and the best way of which you communicate with the energy, or just the goals that you have, or how you like to work with the energy. Some people really love working with guides and with angels. Some people don't use them. So, and they just go straight to their higher self. Hopefully this helped you kind of understand how this works. Maybe it motivated you to try a meditation and see if you can connect with a guide, and really see how you can use their wisdom, their knowledge, their energy in your life to help you with whatever you need in the moment, whether that's with manifestation goals, whether that's to better your relationships, whatever it may be. You can use these things for help. Help is always available to you guys, and this is how we are never alone. I mean, energy is everywhere. That means consciousness is everywhere, and that means frequencies are everywhere. It's you that gets to decide when you want to actually bring these things into your life as the conscious creator. So anyway, hopefully that all made sense. It's a little bit of a hard topic to talk about, but I absolutely love talking about it because I think that it's a difficult one with people thinking that they're crazy. It's honestly allowing your imagination to just play and not overthinking it, really. It's becoming children again. So anyways, sending you guys all of my good vibes. We'll see ya.